This is episode 31 of the Brand Authority Podcast. Today, I'm talking about 5 tips that are going to supercharge your social media productivity. Stick around.
This is the Brand Authority Podcast, the show for growth-driven leaders who want to win more customers, increase revenue, and gain the competitive edge. Broadcasting from sunny Los Angeles, here's your host, Rebekah Radice.
Well, hello and welcome back. You know I love having you here, and I would also love to have you join me on my Brand Authority newsletter. You know, every week I share ways you can increase your credibility, your visibility, and your profitability on social media, and I share things I only share within my newsletter. You're not going to find them anywhere else. So to do that, you can just go to RebekahRadice.com/brand authority. That's RebekahRadice.com/brand authority. So as social media marketers, business owners, and entrepreneurs, it seems that being productive and actually being effective are often confused, and I get asked a lot of questions. Rebekah, how do you get so much accomplished? How do you find the time to fit everything in? And all of it comes down to planning. All of it comes down to a focus and a strategy, and really knowing that you can't jump out of bed and have a productive day if you haven't done the planning in advance. Because you know the saying, failing to plan is planning to fail. So I want to talk about 5 key areas that are going to allow you to take back your day, to really plan each and every day, to organize your daily social media to-do list, to utilize a calendar, which is so important, and then to determine your number one task every single day. And all of that is going to allow you to work to your strengths, focus on your highest and best, doing what you love most, doing those things that only you can do, doing those things that progressively push your business forward. And it also means that you're not going to allow yourself to get caught up in what I call the weeds. Those are those little tasks that keep you busy but not productive. And too often we do this as an avoidance tactic. You know, those little things that feel good because they're easy and you can get them done rather quickly, or maybe you allow them to suck up way too much time and you tell yourself, well, I've got to get this done because I have to do this before I do that, and then I can't do that until I do this. And before you know it, you've whittled away hours out of your day. So we're going to avoid those and not allow ourselves to put roadblocks in our way to actually getting those things done that truly matter within your business. I just had a conversation with a dear friend and colleague that I have worked with for many, many years. In fact, I think we've known each other for almost a decade. And she said to me, you know, Rebekah, one thing I've noticed from watching you work is not only do you get an insane number of things done, but you also always seem to have time for personal things. And she was talking about I'm a cyclist and how I ride my bike or travel with my husband, taking my pups for a walk during the day. All of those things I get done, and they never seem to get in the way of my work goals. And she said that she's always been fascinated by my process and wondered if I could kind of flesh it out. And so I thought that what she and I talked through would be really helpful for you as well, to understand those 5 things I just mentioned. So what kind of planning? How do you organize your to-do list? What does your calendar look like? How do you determine your number one task? And how do you work to your highest and best every single day. And I'll tell you, it is a commitment, and it is something you're going to work to wrangle your entire life, your entire career. Don't think that magically one day you wake up and your whole life is organized, because oh my goodness, wouldn't that be amazing? I am not going to give you some fluff pie in the sky answer, because it's just not that simplistic. And it's also not that easy given the season you're in within your life. And we all go through different times within our life where maybe we're more focused on growing our family and we have small children at home. And so you're not as interested in pushing as hard on your career as you might be when you're in a different stage of your life where your kids are grown. Maybe they're in college now, and you are ready to devote a whole lot of time and energy. And ladies, I'm speaking directly to you because of course I am one, but guys, you've got your own stuff too. We all have those different moments within our lives where our focus is a little bit different. And so with that, your productivity is going to shift, and you're going to have to give yourself some grace with that too, where you can't get everything done that maybe you got done last year, and you can't get everything done that's on your list because some things happened, life happened. So just know that within this framework, within those 5 questions that we just talked about, there's going to have to be a process of understanding that some things have to change as you change. So let's start at the top. And the first one was, what kind of planning do you do for each day? And for me, planning begins at least the day before, if not the Sunday before. So Sundays are a big day, Sunday evenings, I should say, where I am just pulling everything together, looking at my calendar, making sure that I've got my head on straight. I know what's coming up. I know what is due that week, maybe projects. I know who I'm meeting with. I know what I have to prepare for. So everything is in front of me. It's laid out. I'm very comfortable. There's no surprises in what's coming up. And I am one of those people that prepares to prepare. I like to be prepared. But this is just a really great way for you also to do what David Allen talks about, which is just that big brain dump of getting everything out of your head, everything that could potentially keep you from getting a good night's sleep, everything that's keeping you up, everything that's creating that awful pit in your stomach of, oh, I have so much to do, that overwhelm, that stress. So sit down, take 15 minutes, Sunday evening, maybe Monday morning is better for you, and just write it all out. Everything that you've been hanging on to in terms of what you've got to get done, what absolutely has to happen in the upcoming days. And then you're going to start to think about, okay, what things do you truly have to hang on to and what can you give away? So this brain dump is really the ideation where it all begins. And then we're going to start to move some of those pieces around. But the important part is that you're taking it from your head where it doesn't do you or anybody else any good, and you're getting it into a system. So what does that system look like for you? Are you a pen and paper kind of person? Are you using Notes, the Note app on your iPhone? Are you using Evernote or Google Docs? Whatever the case might be, start to create a habit of going into this location, doing that brain dump at the beginning of your week. And then, as I said, we're going to start to disseminate those pieces out into your calendar, into project or task management system, where you're not flailing and trying to hang on to all of those ideas. All right, so the next piece of this was, how do you organize your daily to-do list? So now that you've thought about everything that you want to get done, you've thought about all of those pieces that have to happen, well, now what do you do with those? How do you get those into a daily to-do list? And again, this goes back to those tools that you're very comfortable with. I do not want you trying to shove yourself into a new tool that's going to create additional stress. There's nothing worse than you trying to get into a new productivity flow and throwing a bunch of new tools into the mix, so that now not only do you have a learning curve within that tool, but you also have to figure out a whole new way of working within your day, working within your strategy and your processes. So again, one step at a time, add one thing in at a time that you're going to tackle. So this one is organizing your daily to-do list. So you've dumped everything into whatever capture system you've got. And now I want you to go through and I want you to pick 3 to 5 things. Only 3 to 5 things that are absolute, have to get done. And the criteria is that only you can do them. Nobody else has your vision. Nobody else has your skills or your abilities. So this could be a brand new video series. This could be a brand new campaign for your company. Whatever those things are, they're high level, they're big pieces, and they have to contribute to your bottom line. So it means that you get direct ROI from those. You're going to be able to prove that you're bringing in new leads, that you're turning those leads into customers. So whatever the case, this isn't busy work. This is work that's getting real results for your business. Now, the next piece of this, the next question as we were chatting was, what does your calendar look like, Rebekah, and how often do you update it? Well, my answer is all day long is how I'm updating it. And I use Google Calendar. It's that easy. It does not have to be difficult. I am in Google Apps all day long. So Google just works really well. It's a seamless experience between my calendar and being in Docs or Sheets or whatever it is that I happen to be working in within that moment. Gmail, all of my email is managed through Google Apps. So it's just a very simplistic system for me. And if you know me at this point, I am all about simplicity and streamlining. So again, this goes back to don't throw a new tool into the mix. Just think about what your calendar system is. And now you're going to take those 3 to 5 tasks or those 3 to 5 projects or to-dos, and you're going to start to put those into your calendar. So I want you to think about, if this is a new video series, we're just using that as an example, that you want to create within this week, what are those few things that you're going to have to do to make that happen? So one could be that you've got to write the script for those videos. 2 could be that you've got to find the exact location where you're going to record those videos. And then 3 might be you need an editor. You need somebody that's going to help you edit all of those down and get those all prepared. So think about what those few items are that are also going to have to happen in tandem with that one big particular task. And all of those are going to go into your calendar, and you're going to start to put in the time for you to handle those. So think about, okay, writing those scripts. Honestly, how long is it going to take you? If it's going to take you an hour, if it's going to take you 2, 3, 4, 5, you need to find time for those within your calendar. You need to find time for those within your calendar, and you're going to treat them like any other meeting within your business. So think about, in a situation like that, your most creative time. So when is it that you have the freedom to really think through writing those scripts? And I want you to block out that 1 hour on Monday, that 1 hour on Tuesday, those 2 hours on Wednesday, so that you've got the ample amount of time to get that done. And you're going to do that for every single one of those pieces within your to-do list. Now, I'm not telling you you're going to live and die by that, because things do happen, but what you're doing is you're making a commitment. You're making a commitment to getting those things done within your day and your week. And now that you've got all those pieces, the next question was, how do you determine your number one task each day? And that is as simple as those questions I asked you. What is that contributing to? Is it working towards a bigger company goal? So is it revenue based? Is it helping you get more clients? Is it helping you bring new leads in through the door? And if you can't answer yes emphatically to those, then you need to push that off into your backlog, and you can start to create a list of those backlog items, which might be, someday I want to get that done. Someday I'd love to make that happen, but it's not getting me paid tomorrow. So it's not something I need to focus on right this minute. So you're going to start to prioritize based off of that ROI again. So based off of those things that are bringing real returns, not pie in the sky, not, well, that would be so awesome if I could do that kind of things, but things that are actually generating real results for your business. And then that final question she asked me was, so how do you work to your highest and best? How do you maintain that focus where you're not getting sucked into little tasks? And I ask myself one question every single time I get started on something, and that is, and I've alluded to it already, is this something I absolutely have to do, or could I delegate this? Is this something that I could ask my assistant to handle? Is this an email that I could have somebody else respond to? Is this a project that I could have somebody else edit, or a graphic design I could have somebody else create? And this is where you have to be very, very honest with yourself. A lot of entrepreneurs I talk with have a problem with delegation. We are good at a lot of things, which is really terrific, but it's also a double-edged sword where we don't want to let go of a lot. And so you need to really start to think about, and I really challenge you with this, think about those things that, you're good at it, but there's people that are a heck of a lot better at it than you actually are. And now you're going to start seeking those people out and finding those people that you can plug into your business that can really elevate, support, and help you grow. So to maintain that focus and make sure that you are doing what is the best use of your time every single day, make sure that it's something that only you can do, because it is a revenue generator, because it is directly contributing to those big, bold goals that you've created for your business, and because you know the value it's going to bring to your business, it's going to bring to your customers, maybe your potential customers. And when you start to think about things in terms of that, it starts to get very easy. It almost becomes a game where you can challenge yourself. Yep, nope. I can push that off. I can push that off to somebody that is far more equipped. And that's how I have always looked at it. I surround myself with a team that is far more equipped to deal with things than I ever have been. And yeah, you can hang on to them, but you are only limiting yourself, and it's going to hurt you in the long run, because you're going to start to limp along as you try to hold on tighter and tighter and tighter to those things. So when people ask me, how do you fit everything into your schedule? How do you balance personal, professional, learning? Well, it's because you become very good at filtering through what you should be doing, what you absolutely should not be doing, and where you should be focusing your time. And a big piece of that is getting your personal priorities into your calendar as well. So think about those things. For me, it's walking my dogs around my block. It's getting on my bike and spending an hour a day on my bike. It's listening to my favorite podcasts, or listening to an Audible book. Whatever those things are that you love most in your life, schedule that time into your calendar. I know it sounds silly, But again, it goes back to it is a commitment to you, to your growth, to your personal well-being, and to you finding that elusive balance that we talk so much about. And when you start to do this, when you start to plan in this way, you're getting roadblocks and distractions out of your way, because it is very simple. Being in social media, it is so easy. Boom, just like that. We can lose so much time to a customer calling and saying, oh my gosh, something blew up and I just had 10 different posts go out at once, and you're trying to get to the bottom of it, and it sucked up 2 hours out of your day, and now poof, that time that you were going to use to write that new ebook is gone. So you have to allocate time for that. You have to be sure that you are focusing on the important things within your business and not allowing that urgent fire to distract you, because you know what happens when it does. You see those peaks and valleys where all of a sudden you are on that high growth trajectory. You are super excited about all that you've got going on, and then boom, you allow the urgent to suck your focus and your attention away, and before you know it, you're not bringing in the amount of new clients you were, or you're not creating the new content you were, or your social media is kind of ho-hum because you stopped being in it every single day and engaged with your audience. So keep yourself focused, minimize those distractions, and make sure that your productivity is truly productive and effective and not just keeping you busy within your business. So there you have it, 5 different questions that are really going to help you supercharge your social media and really truly your productivity within your business, because you can ask these questions. What kind of planning? How do you organize? What does your calendar look like? How do you determine your number one task? And how do you work to your highest and best? You can use that in any aspect of your life and your business. And the thing is that the more aware you become of all of these situations within your business, what's tugging at you, what's pulling you away, what's distracting you, the better you're going to become, the more equipped you are at batting those away, at just saying, you know what, that is not something I need to be focused on right now, not something I need to be doing. I am on a high growth trajectory, and that is not a part of that strategy. So keep yourself focused, keep yourself engaged in what matters most, and push everything else aside. Thanks again for joining me here on the Brand Authority Podcast. If you love what you're hearing, I would love for you to give us a 5-star rating, and please share this with your friends. You know, sharing is caring, and sharing is the way that we get found on iTunes and everywhere else. So if you love listening, please do subscribe as well in your favorite podcast app, and then make sure you're right back here next week for another episode of the Brand Authority Podcast. Well, thank you again for joining us at the Brand Authority Podcast. You know, my mission is to help growth-driven leaders just like you win more customers, increase revenue, and gain the competitive edge. And whether you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're a small business owner, a tech industry professional, marketer, consultant, or coach, each episode at the Brand Authority Podcast gives you a sneak peek into the systems, the processes, and the skills necessary to create a profitable and authoritative online business. I hope you join us back here next week for another episode of the Brand Authority Podcast. And in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind popping on over to iTunes and click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all of our latest episodes. And if you would be so kind, give us a 5-star rating and your comment. All of that helps other people just like you find our content. Until next week, we'll see you right back here on the Brand Authority Podcast.